Hey everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. Status post Fed Day. Actually, it's still Fed Day. Look, I have so much I want to cover with you today. I don't even know where to begin. So I guess I'll just start here at the beginning. We did get a rate hike today, a 25 basis point hike to the federal funds rate. No surprise to you if you follow this blog. I want to put a little perspective on a few other things as well. Stocks finished negative today. Now, many of you will remember me saying that stocks would respond in a positive way to the Fed announcement. That actually did happen. I'll talk a little bit more about that too. What many of you, well, not you, because I told you, might find shocking is despite the rate hike today, the 10-year yield dropped. I explained to you in my scenario how this market would play out a couple of videos ago. I said specifically that the 10-year yield would drop despite a rate hike. Now let's talk about how this market responded today. If you were watching these markets, you will attest to what I am about to say is true. When this announcement came out, stocks were actually higher by about 300 points. Soon as the announcement came out, you get that initial rush of volatility in the markets. Stocks actually went negative very briefly and then came right back up right after the Fed decision, like I said would happen. However, you have to understand something, and I've covered this before with regard to this guy, Powell. The market has no confidence in this man. To me, he looks like a little boy, a little scared child when he's asked questions from the audience there. Soon as this guy starts opening his mouth, we had a triple-digit gain after the Fed decision. Right before Powell, opened his mouth, stocks started dropping. Boom, 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 boom. This is no confidence. The market has no confidence in this guy. I don't have any confidence in him whatsoever. And I know that you don't either. It's a joke. But that's what the market was looking for. Some kind of a pep talk to push stocks higher throughout the end of the day. Now, okay, you could look at this however you want to. But this past Sunday, if you saw the video I did, markets a look ahead at the 6 1/4 timestamp, I said specifically be cautious in this market. I also said I would not be surprised if the market did not hold onto gains after the announcement. It's exactly what played out, but I know a lot of people are going to say, Greg was wrong. Greg was wrong. Market didn't go up today. How about the fact that I nailed the rate hike? How about the fact that I nailed what the 10-year yield would do? I mean, look, however you want to take it's fine. I still believe and I still stick to my guns. This rate hike today was bullish for the stock market. If we got a no confidence vote today, no hike, forget about it. I think the Dow would have peeled off 800, 1,000 points. The Dow did finish down about 350. So, look, that's neither here nor there. Okay, we could sit here, we could talk about who's right and who's wrong. I'm not going to toot my horn about being right about the Fed or about being right regarding what the 10-year yield would do, whether I was right or wrong about what the market would do today. What really matters, okay, is what can be done from here. Because look, it's not about anything else. This entire blog has been dedicated to try to allow people to get a perspective on these markets. And I think I've done a pretty darn good job at it. Today, and this is an incredible thing, Richard Fisher, Fed President Richard Fisher, came out on CNBC explaining in exquisite detail how the Federal Reserve has, this are his words, artificially inflated the stock market by artificially inflating its balance sheet. I mean, just buying everything in sight. I couldn't believe they were letting this guy talk. And he went on and on and on for a while. Let's talk about the Fed's balance sheet real quick. It's a joke. What you're seeing with regard to the Fed's balance sheet, it's not real. They can put on there whatever numbers they want to. What I believe has been going on for quite a long time, and I've said this, is world central banks, all of them, are buying each other's debt, keeping it off balance sheet. So you could sit there and watch the Fed's balance sheet supposedly decreasing. I don't believe it's happening, okay? Especially when you got a guy like Fisher explaining that the Fed has artificially inflated the stock market. I mean, it's an incredible thing, but this is what came out of his mouth. This is utterly bizarre. And why stocks didn't drop 2,000 points after hearing that, I don't know, because it's all fake. The environment we are existing in is completely fake. And the fakery has got to stop. I'm not saying it's going to, but in order for things to become real, we have to do the opposite of what the Federal Reserve has been doing. We got to stop the money printing. We have to stop the artificially suppressed rates. That's what we have got to do. Our president knows this. In my opinion, our president can turn this around. And I've said this before. Our president still, although he's losing a lot of support, has enough people behind him that if he would just explain to the American people what's really happening, everyone would back him. I really believe that. Even liberals would back him. They would. If the president would explain that the environment we are in is not real, just like he explained during the campaign, how artificially suppressed interest rates and the Federal Reserve, who keeps doing nothing but print cash out of thin air, buying everything in sight, has created a fake environment, and we need to fix it. Well, you know what? He would get his wish, and I think people would back him. And then, instead of some supposed covert plan to take down the Federal Reserve, which does not exist, wake up, he would be able to attack the Federal Reserve with the people, all of them, not just a fraction of the people who believe in some kind of mystical plan. You understand? He's got to get the people behind him to take out the Federal Reserve, which is only one central bank among hundreds around the world. This is what our president needs to do. Sit down in front of that camera and explain to the people, look, the environment we are in is not real. Debts and deficits continue to explode to the upside. We have got to stop this. All the exploding debts and deficits are doing is making all of the world's central banks stronger. How? Because their product is debt. Understand that. We have a debt-based economic model. It's that simple. It demands that debt be borrowed into existence in greater and greater amounts just to sustain where we are. You understand? This is why I'm able to call moves in the bond market like I did today. Call what the Federal Reserve is going to do. You have your own perspective on what I said with regard to how the stock market would respond. I still stand by my statement. This is bullish. If we got a no confidence vote, boom. This 350-point drop that we got at the end because of our no confidence vote in Powell, who's a little boy who's sitting there chattering behind the podium. It's a joke watching this man talk. That's why stocks sold off. Stocks were higher after the Fed announcement. But let's put that aside again. The president can fix this. I've written to the president about this. I still have yet to hear from him. I write to him all the time about what he should do. And of course it falls on deaf ears. But the fact of the matter is, there was a huge missed opportunity here. When stocks were rising under this guy, and I explained to all of you, when he was elected, that stocks would vault higher, that's when he should have had the Fed start normalizing rates. That's truth. He didn't allow that to happen. He wanted the market to vault higher so he can use it as a tool. Look at the stock market. Look at the stock market. You remember how he kept touting it? He knows it's fake. He knows it's not real. But a lot of people are going to get hurt when this corrects to fair value. And maybe it's going to happen tomorrow or the next day or next week. I don't know. The fact of the matter is, I still believe he can grab the bull by the horns, not through some clandestine plan that only a few people know about because that fraction of people is just so smart. Get everyone behind you, Mr. President. We will stand behind you, Mr. President. If you tell us all the truth, we can handle the truth. Not like Nicholson, you can't handle the truth. I think people can handle the truth. I really do. Our economy is not strong. It's being inflated on the back of debt and deficits exploding. All of these supposed jobs that were created are temporary positions, because as the economy slows with the rest of the world, those jobs will be lost. Mr. President, we can fix these things. Really, contact me. It's so, you know, well, come on, you got the CIA, the FBI, the IRS, and they're one of them. Give me a call. We can talk about it. I'm willing to do that for free. Anyway, look, things are what they are, people, and we're going to watch the charade go on, I guess, until it stops. I want things to be different. I want a real market. I don't want some kind of, socialism to take over, which it already is, with subsidies and farm bills and big pharma getting, hundreds of millions of dollars thrown at them to develop drugs. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Of bank bailouts. I mean, when does it stop? Why can't it stop now? That was my hope. Under this guy, it would stop. I believed that he would do that. I got misled. I think a lot of us are still getting misled, but we can fix it. We can fix this. All right, with that said, I'm going to let you go, and see you tomorrow.